I'm here to share with you a technique that I use to know anything that I have to know given the perspective and momentary basis of this reality, right? Okay. The whole thing, you got to really understand it all to be able to use this type of thing. And you don't always have to have it concrete within your mind to be able to understand it all. You just have to be within that vibration. It doesn't always have to be in the thought. Okay? Okay, here's the thing. Technique. To be able to do this technique, you have to let go of your ego. You have to not let it overpower your higher self. You have to let your higher self speak. You have to let your higher self be as it should, which implies that you might have to meditate to get into this state, to be connected to the higher self, the source, the God energy, the flow state, whatever you want to call it. The energy, the piercing, positive, peaceful, loving energy that you can feel. Because that is what the information is communicated through. Okay? The higher self, the source. Right? For me, I can do this whenever I want. And as you get better, you'll train yourself to be able to recognize it in more sketchy situations, right? Outside the bedroom for meditation, in the hallway, in the school, in the job, in the car driving to the job, anywhere, right? You can ask yourself this technique, which is this, right? But, wait. I have to say one more thing. If you're still in the phase of bullshitting yourself, I was in there too. The answers may be skewed. Okay? And you'll come to understand that, which will probably in the future, a couple days in the future, if you recognize it, that, hey, there's something not right here, let it be. Understand that, fine, whatever, it's not right in this moment. Don't give up, so to speak, just because your own mistake of interpretation as a result of confusion within the ego, within the want, within that whole sector, right? Okay, so what's the technique? Let's get on to the video. What's the technique? Ask yourself a question. Any question, but it has to be a yes or no question. Something that you can respond to yourself. And one technique that you can do to really get this clear is to go to a peaceful state. Whatever state is the most peaceful place, create it within your mind. And go there. And have 2 chairs, both of them facing each other. Now this is what I started with and it worked instantly for me. I have 2 chairs. And you can do this in physical reality too. But imaginative is just a little bit more fun for me, just because it's a different scene, like I don't have to be in this physical reality, that sort of thing. But you can do this with physical chairs, physical reality, and ask yourself the same question, ask yourself the yes or no, go in, respond, and you can even ask yourself hardcore questions where you need to respond to a greater degree than yes or no. But here's the thing. To those, what you do when you're setting up the chairs, you sit in one chair. The other chair is empty at the start. And you ask yourself the question. And upon asking yourself the question, you get up literally and sit down in the other chair and respond to yourself. Okay? Respond without thinking. Only respond in feeling, connected to the higher state, to the higher mind, to the source, to the God, to the pure, to the love, to the happy energy, to the peaceful energy, to the true energy, the thing that feels like the orgasm if you felt it before, the thing that tickles up your back, the thing that tickles down your legs, all of that energy, the positive, the peaceful, the love, right? That is the same communicative energy that is used to communicate telepathically, telepathically, but telepathically, with empathy, with feeling, with storytelling, with the creation of a scene within your mind that produces a feeling to then be reverberated from the heart into the matrix of reality, whatever it may be, right? That is the communicative capacity of our existence. We must feel. So don't think what your response is. Feel it. You say it in a physical sense, but you do not think it in a physical sense, okay? So what could be a question to start off with? Well, one that I came up with is an obvious one, and you can start with obvious questions to be able to feel the trueness within yourself. So what I asked earlier was, do I love? One of the simplest questions in existence. And it was an obvious yes, right? You say, do I love? Yes. Feel how that feels. And say, do I love? No. Feel how that feels. And the answer may be very clear to you. You'll feel the truth. You will feel the truth. Now, if you're still bullshitting yourself, you may be confused. You may feel. Now, really, you always feel the right answer, except you're probably just going to deny it. And that's the bullshitting. That's the ego. That's the thing that you just don't trust that the universe has the capacity to fulfill itself in existing. How strange that we literally go against existing. Isn't it weird? With that lack of trust, okay? So you're going to have to stop bullshitting yourself. Just because the lover of your life isn't the lover of your life doesn't mean that you still have to chase it. Doesn't mean that you have to skew your responses, right? You can ask yourself, hey, is this person my soulmate? Is this person my long-term lover? Is my person my person? Wow, see, my language is already describing mine in a possessive sense, obviously, man. You might want to reconsider definitions of soulmate, of lovers, all that type of thing. You may get a pure yes, which is cool. But on that note, do not expect for things to occur in a certain sense, because if you do, it's not going to happen in that sense. Why would it? Try it. In the morning, expect something. Create the expectation. Feel the expectation, because you can feel it. Doesn't mean that you can't feel something that isn't real, so to speak. It is always real, but something that isn't real in the pathway that you should be taking, which in essence is always the right path, but something that breaks off for you to learn that it isn't what you should be doing all the time, because then that would eventually pull you down a different path. Right? It's just a different vibration. It's all a scale of vibration. If you continue to do something, it's going to be that vibration. What was I talking about, man? Expectations. You can ask yourself future things, but leave it at that. Do not expect that it's going to occur. Just ask yourself, am I going to be a millionaire? No, I'm not. But there is a sense of but, which is interesting for me. So maybe there's a material wealth involved for my life. Okay, that was a literal. I did it right there, right? You don't always have to be meditating if you get good at it. But here's the thing too. It's not always yes and no. Well, what could it be? What I just said, actually. When you ask yourself questions and you say, do I love? Okay, let's do a different one. Is there a Kleenex box on my... Okay, that's too obvious, too. Okay, I don't know what thing is yes, but, and no, but. But here's the thing. There's 4 different answers that can occur. There's a yes, there's a no, and there's a yes, but uncertainty. And there's a no, but uncertainty, right? You don't always have to know things, and you're not always supposed to know things. There's sometimes the physical mind shouldn't know what is going to happen. So, you may get responses that are yes, but not how you think it. And that's usually what it is, where you ask yourself the question, oh man, I don't know a good example of this. Am I going to go to the store today? No, I don't know a great example, but here's one. You may feel yes, but, okay, and what does that mean? What does that mean? Well, you may not want to know what it means. You shouldn't know what it means, so you may not want to question what it means. But what it may mean, just for speculation, is, well, yes, you're going to be going out and about today, but it's not to the store, right? Because the feeling of going out, the feeling of the question that you're asking yourself is a very complex, dynamic thing, and a yes doesn't necessarily have to be a yes to the absolute thing. But there will still be feelings of that yes. You're going to be doing something that feels similar to how it would be if you were to go to the store. Right? And that's the same thing with definitions of everything. When you ask yourself, do I have a soulmate? And you say yes, but really understand what is a soulmate. It doesn't necessarily have to be something that's a long-term, possessive, connected, harmonic entity that lasts for a long time. Like the soulmate may be someone that pops into your life for 2 years and then it's done. Situations, it's done. So you might get this yes, but feeling. Or even if you have to feel this sense, if you have to go into it making a particular mistake, usually when you make the mistake of understanding it in the first place, you go out to then learn why this was wrong, so to speak, and then therefore it's not wrong. So you may feel an absolute yes, and then going into your usually first soulmate experience, you're like, oh, wow, this is it, man, I found my soulmate for the rest of my life. And then you pop into that real world situation, into the higher self situation, which just means, hey, this person was supposed to come up in your life for 2 years and that's it. So the yes in the beginning may have been a very pure, or, see, now that could have been a situation where your higher self positions yourself to learn an experience by lying to yourself, or your ego may be doing it, which is just a misguided thing. And if you really recognize your ego doing it, you don't have to do it. The ego is there for you to persuade you in the opposite direction, because why would you want to do something that is none of your path? Right? You know the ego. We all know what it feels like. We all know the unbalance that it feels. Man, this was a long video, way longer than I wanted it to be.